Hey guys, before we get into the video, I am going to apologize for one thing, and that's that I'm not going to do the up close and personals like I normally do, but I'm not going to have enough room to wrap the coil, to trim the coil, to do everything that I need with that normal setup. So I do apologize for that in advance, but enjoy the video anyway, so here we go guys. What's going on, everybody? This is Mike over at Valley Vapors, and today, instead of a product review, I'm actually going to be doing a tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to do a 22 parallel dual coil, and it's going to go in the Dark Horse. I have it apart right now, just ready to go. This RDA we do have at the shop. It is a monster of an RDA. There's 16 different airflow options combined between single and dual coil mode. It's 2mm post holes. But I'm not going to get too far into it just because that's for another video and a whole new review, which I will be doing soon, by the way. So what you're going to need is, of course, you're going to need a mod. You're going to need an ohms checker. It's best to have some pliers, wire cutters, and of course your wire and a wicking material. In this case, I'm going to be using Japanese cotton, which we are also going to be getting into the shop soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 20 gauge here, and just a heads up, 20 gauge is very, very springy. So it is going to, if you don't have a good grip on here, it will fly off. So just get a decent strand. It really depends on you, how much you want to use. I'm not going for anything high resistance. I'm actually going for as low as I can get, maybe around a 0.10 to a 0.12. It's about where I'm trying to go with this. So get your wire, and what you want to do for a parallel is you want to try to meet the two ends here, get them as even as possible. Just kind of with your hand, give it a little middle section, and with the wire cutters, if I can get them in there, doesn't spring away from me, it's just clip it. Always be careful, especially with thicker wire. It is very springy. And then what you want to do is you can do the same thing again. I just kind of eyeball about what I think is going to be about the same and clip. 2 wires for 1 coil, same thing on this, and I'm looking at about, maybe a little more, about right here. Clip, 2 wires for the other coil. And what I'm going to be doing is parallel. What that means is you have 2 individual wires to build 1 coil, and they're going to stay parallel to each other. You do not want them to cross anywhere in this build, otherwise you can get shorting. You will get shorting, and it's just not going to work. It's not what you want. If you want to, you can kind of try to straighten this out a little bit since it is springy. With something like 26, it's not as much of a pain in the ass. So what you're going to do in this case is I'm using a 2.4mm screwdriver. A lot of people use drill bits, needle tips, whatever. I use screwdrivers. I bought the kit. It's a Stanley kit. It comes with 6 different ones. Flathead and Phillips head, different sizes. That's really kind of the go-to whenever it comes to rebuilding, in my opinion. So what you're going to do is you're going to get these 2 even at the end. You're going to give yourself enough room to work with down here, and you're going to wrap them and keep them parallel. That's really the hardest part, is keeping these things parallel. You want to pay close attention to that. And to me, the hardest part of wrapping a coil is always going to be that first wrap. So what I'll do is I'll get that first one, and I'll get a really good second wrap done, and then I'll actually come in here with the needle nose pliers. This is where they come in. Grab the first and just pull, as long as I don't drop the screwdriver out of there, and just pull in the opposite direction. Kind of tighten these up. It's always the hardest part to me. It's always the most finicky, the biggest pain in the ass. Once you get that done, get it generally close to where you want it, is then you keep doing however many wraps you want to do. In this case, I'm gonna do 5 wraps, so that's 4, and this is 5. And I like to do the same thing at this end here. Just tighten it down pretty well. And then from there, you can kind of do the same exact thing. Just flip this coil around on the screwdriver and just straighten this coil up however you need to do so. Sometimes it's easiest to just unwrap it a little bit and do it again. And then what you want to do is get these pliers and press it down. Make sure you don't have anything that's crossing over on itself. This one looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. Although I will do a trippy little fast forward through it. So let me get this, get it even, and here we go. Alright guys, as you can see I got both of those ready to go. Be careful, by the way, whenever you clip your leads, because they do tend to, I don't know where those went, but they went pretty far. What you're going to do from here is get your RDA. Here you go. Like I said, these are massive 2mm post holes. You fit 2 through the positive and 2 through the negative. Now you want to make sure that in the end everything comes out pretty even. Sometimes with this gauge of wire I find it's easiest to use another screwdriver, kind of lead them in there, and just get them where you want them. And then with Phillips head screwdriver, just go ahead and secure this negative post down. Get that in there nice, and just kind of, there you go. Just get it out of there. And then what you want to do, of course, get the other coil, straighten these leads out just a little bit, make sure they're going to be decently easy to get through here, and go through the other side. Really the trickiest damn thing that I've ever encountered is using large gauge wire like this and trying to keep them from like crossing on themselves. And whenever you go through the negative post, is you don't want those leads to go through into or anything like that onto this other coil. That's going to cause shorting because you won't be able to clip them. But once you get them where you feel it's about even compared to the other side and getting it close, you want to just secure down this other negative lead. Leave that positive lead open though. What I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to raise it up, get it about even, just make sure everything's looking about how I want it. And yeah, as of right now you can see generally it's pretty even spaced from the posts. So here's where you can go ahead and tighten down your positive post. Okay, here's where you're going to need your wire cutters. What you're going to do is you're just going to get these here, get as absolutely as close as possible, and clip. And then on the other side there's not as much, I had smaller leads, so just clip. And then this is really where I have the most difficulty, is on the positive. What I tend to do is I tend to raise up this coil on one side, and with that same screwdriver just kind of push the leads down, up, whatever it is that you need to do to get them separated. And then you just kind of sneak in there and clip these off. No matter how much trouble they give you, clip them off one way or the other because you have to. And see, in this case on this side, I actually have to push that coil downwards to get it out of the way. And then I'll push these up. So as you can see, I get them out of the way. Make sure you do not clip your actual coil leads. Here you go. And then you want to get your screwdriver and just, like I said, this 22 gauge wire is kind of a pain in the ass. I'll pull outwards this way against the coil. I'll just kind of wiggle up and down to get it kind of spaced out and how I want it, and getting terms of level. And then you just do it to the other side. Same thing, is opposite of the posts. A little twist up and down like this to get them even. And then here's where you can really even everything up. What I'm going to need to do is at them. I want to match this side to this side, which it's not there. As you can see, it's a little uneven. So just kind of eyeball it, and in this case I think I need to pick it up. No, it's still angled wrong, as you want these to be as absolutely close as possible. So that's pretty damn close. I think this one may need just a little bit of tilt. Pull it away from the post. So you really have to look at all different angles to get these even. There you go. I'm liking how that's looking right now. What you want to do here is go ahead and pulse your battery like this. You're going to wait until they start to get red. This can absolutely get your button hot, but from here what you want to do while they're still red is just tighten them. Put pressure and blow softly onto it. Then button again. Get them hot. Squeeze. What that's going to do is that's going to help it just kind of secure its shape and harden a little bit. I still, throughout the process, I do like to get the screwdriver back in here and just kind of wiggle it around so I can pull them, get them about how I want them. I'm going to do the same thing to this other side. There you go. They're looking pretty good, pretty even. What you want on a coil is the coil getting red hot from the inside out. Just keep pulsing on these things until they get even at the same time. That's a big thing. In this case, they're both going from the inside out, but this one's going a lot slower. So what you want to do is kind of focus on the negative post of this. Just tighten it down a little bit more. Yeah. So that button's getting pretty hot. There's no juice, no cotton or anything in there. So as you can see there, this one's still just a little bit behind. Sometimes what I'll do is just kind of pull just a little bit. Make sure they're even. Squeeze this one back a little bit. It's really a finicky process to get it just right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to tighten down this negative post. Tighten these back up. That's getting close, so let me just... This is really just the most finicky process of everything, is making sure they stay even, making sure they heat up evenly. It just takes time, really. That's really all I can say for it. Let's see, that feels like it's going to be about right. So this side obviously is going to be pinched, just a little uneven. Alright guys, like I said, these coils have started going pretty evenly. Check it out, just like that. There is still just a tiny bit of difference in there. You could be picky and be perfect on them, but I'm not really worried about that. That's not even half a second, not even a quarter of a second. It's a fraction of a second difference in how it's heating. So what I like to do from here is just kind of re-inspect everything. You can see they're pretty nice and even on these dual parallels. Let me move this light a little bit, maybe you can see it a little bit better. Right there. This is dual parallel 22 gauge, so this is going to be pretty low. Organic cotton is kind of the standard. In this case, I'm actually going to be using Japanese cotton. This comes in sheets like this, and it's really useful. What you do is you get a pair of scissors and you just cut a strip all the way up the length of this thing. It's pretty easy to cut. And what you want to do from here, I've found the easiest, is just kind of split this strip in half. It comes apart really easily. And I'm going to go ahead and get this wicked up on here. So what you do is you just kind of get this Japanese cotton, just kind of roll it up a little bit. I like to loosen it. And you just kind of twist one in until it pinches a little bit. I like to clip it at a little bit of an angle so I can slide it right into these coils. In this case, I need to tighten it up just a little bit more. And what's great about this Japanese cotton, I've noticed, it's pretty resilient in terms of holding its shape. So once you do this, kind of get them evenly pulled through, and you just kind of fluff this other side back up and get them even. And then you do the same thing on the other side. So you do this, you just kind of bring this one back. Make sure it's pretty much even on both sides, like this. And then you get a small screwdriver. The smallest one is what I use, and I just tuck it underneath on both sides. You can use a little less if you'd prefer. This Japanese cotton does absorb and hold juice a lot better than organic cotton. But this is already wicked up nicely in here. So let me go ahead and take this off. I'll put it on the ohms reader and I'll show you what it's ohming at. Alright guys, I got this on the ohms checker. In this case I'm using an E-leaf. This is just my personal one that I use. This is at a 0.11. Let's see if you can see it. There you go, 0.11. So that's about where I was wanting. Like I had said at the beginning, is around a 0.12 to a 0.10 build. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on my mod. So what you want to do is just get these coils wicked up. As you can see, I've been putting quite a bit of juice onto this. Even though I fast forwarded that little part, you can still see with this Japanese cotton, it doesn't look as saturated as it could be. And I keep loading juice into here and it just keeps absorbing. There you go. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick fire on it. It's looking really, really good. I'm looking forward to vaping this. It's going to be nice and hot. That's how I like my vape. So let me go ahead and I'll put the top cap back on. I have the airflow all the way open on the Dark Horse. Make sure to line them up with your coils. You can actually see the coil even with these air holes. That's what I always try to do. Gives the best airflow. It's going to give you the better vape. So let me go ahead and do a quick vape on this. Damn. And that's a quick pull. That's not even a full second. That is a nice hot build. This thing is just beasting. I'm actually going to change the camera angle a little bit so you can see it a lot better. Yeah, that's definitely a cloud. But yeah, so as you can see, that is a 22 gauge parallel, 5 wraps on each side, ohming at 0.11 on the Dark Horse. The wire and the RDA we do have here in the shop, so go ahead and come pick one up and do a build like this on your own, guys. So from all of us here at Valley Vapors, keep calm and vape on.